Hey guys, me Dave. It's 11 or 3/12, 2023. So I kind of had a bad morning. This doesn't really have to do with targeting, but it kind of does. Because I think they make me be out of breath and all this stuff. Besides my esophagus problem and stuff, I think they purposely make me feel like I'm out of breath. Okay, so I told you last night that I would have to drive my relative to work. I did. Okay, I did. We got tons of snow, so I drove her to work. And get this. Okay, so she works at an apartment building with a client, you know, with special needs. And I dropped her off and all this stuff, and I was going to pull around. I got stuck. You guys. Okay, now she doesn't have aggressive tires on her truck or anything like that, which I tried to get her to buy aggressive tires when she bought her tires, but she bought these like road tires. They're just like car tires. I got stuck in the snow. I didn't have my phone on me and all this stuff, and I'm like, I don't know what apartment she's in and all this stuff. So I got her truck stuck in the parking lot of this apartment building. I'm like, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna be here all night long, and her truck is stuck in all this stuff. So I found the apartment building. I didn't know the girl's last name. I know her first name started with a B, and I can't see. They make my eyes so blurry. I can't see anything, you guys. So all I seen was this apartment building with a B. It was the only one with a B. I pressed it. I'm like, is this where where Carolyn is working and all this stuff? And the girl's like, yeah, this is it. I'm like, I'm stuck. I can't get out. And they're like, we'll be down in a few minutes and all this stuff. So I'm thinking, what am I gonna do? I'm stuck here too. You guys. It was like a foot of snow, over a foot and a half of snow in the parking lot. I'm like, I'm stuck. So my relatives like, oh, they're all trying to get it out and all this stuff. Oh, hey, moving. The truck ain't moving at all. It's a 4-wheel drive. She has road tires on the thing. I wanted her to get aggressive tires on that truck, but she didn't listen. you know. But so the girl that she was relieving, she was a teacher. Apparently, her husband is a principal somewhere at a school, and all this stuff. And so the girl's like, "Well, I'll have my husband come and pick us up. He could drive you home too, and stuff." And so we had to walk like 6 blocks. This is in deep snow, you guys. I have my esophagus. I can't. I get out of breath super hard, super easy, you guys, super easy. So we're walking through this deep snow to the main road where it's an emergency route. For the ambulance and everything else. It's always plowed. So this is all happening in the morning. I'm like half awake and all this stuff. So we get this. I walk with this girl that I just met. She's kind of cute and all this stuff. She's married and all this stuff. I'm not interested. But so we walk to the main road where it's plowed, and we're waiting for her husband, and it's snowing like crazy, waiting for her husband to come, and her husband comes, and I hop in the front seat. She hops in the back seat of the truck, and I give him directions to where I live and all this stuff. And I'm just like, let me off on the main road because I don't want you to get stuck. Let me off at the bus stop. and I'll walk down to my house in deep snow. You know, I mean, it was just a miserable morning. What does it have to do with targeting? Well, they do. This was spontaneous, you guys. This was spontaneous. Mind control fails. Okay, mind control does fail. Spontaneous. Okay, now this girl got relieved, and they didn't have time to get her involved in the program. So they were barely hitting me. They were still kind of hitting me. I mean, they were still doing like forced speech, like saying dirty things about this girl and stuff like that. Sexual things. A little bit, not much. Okay, now her husband came from Wisconsin over the bridge, Superior, Wisconsin, and came over the bridge to pick us up. And they didn't have time. They didn't have time to get these people involved. They didn't have time. So they were barely hitting me because they couldn't validate, they couldn't trigger, they couldn't validate their technology because they weren't involved. It happened like that. I mean, I got stuck in the parking lot and they didn't have time to get this girl involved. Okay? So, it was like a normal ride home because they weren't involved. They weren't validating or triggering, or they weren't validating their technology. It happened like that. Okay, they didn't have time to do that. It was just like that. So you can beat this stuff, you guys. Be spontaneous. I totally agree with that. If you're going to the gas station and it has to be like that, you guys. You can beat this stuff. They will have the perps in there sooner or later, but you can beat this stuff. So, if you're going to the gas station and you decide, okay, I'm going in the restaurant to eat, you can beat this stuff if it's like that. They will have the perps in there afterwards. They will send the perps in there afterwards. It may take 10, 15, 20 minutes, but they will get them in there. But I agree with Brian too. You can beat this stuff if you're spontaneous like that. So this was totally unplanned. I dropped my relative off. I got stuck in the parking lot. I'm like, I'm stuck, and they're like, we'll be down. My husband will come pick us up, and he'll drop you off at home, and all stuff. And it happened like that. They weren't involved. They weren't validating. They weren't doing anything to perp me. They were still putting images in my head because, she was cute. She was cute. So they were putting images in my head a little bit, not much, a little bit, remote monitoring, of sexual things, and stuff. So I didn't really get perped on the ride home. I told him I gave him directions. Let me off at the bus stop. I'll walk down to my house. I don't want you to get stuck and all stuff. And it was a horrible morning. But it was totally spontaneous. Totally spontaneous. Where these people really weren't involved in this. They didn't have time to get them involved. So it was totally spontaneous. Chaotic. What do you want to call it? Chaotic. Or whatever, and they didn't get him involved because this was totally unplanned, and it happened like that, So she came outside. She's like, I'm gonna text my husband He'll come get me. He'll drive you home and all stuff. And the truck was in the parking lot stuck. So then my relative seen the plow truck, and the young guy, got her out, got her unstuck, and she was able to get her truck in a parking spot and all this stuff. And I'm like, she's trapped there. She's trapped there till Monday morning. There ain't nobody that's gonna come and make it up there. But she got done at 6, and the girl was able to make it there to work and relieve her and all this stuff. I mean, it was a horrible morning. I was just like, I didn't have my phone on me, and I didn't know what apartment she was in and all this stuff. And I'm like, I'm stuck here, and this truck is stuck. It was chaotic, unplanned. So did mind control fail? It failed at that point. They couldn't control what was going on. So it did fail at that point. It failed for about an hour. And then I came home and I, had some coffee and all this stuff and fed I guess I fed the dogs before and, I hung around for a little bit and then I took a nap and all this stuff, But mind control did fail because it was so chaotic. It was spontaneous like that. So they couldn't do much. They didn't remonitor me that much. They did it a little bit, but not that much because they couldn't validate their technology. So they didn't do it that much when I was around those two, couple, So it wasn't that bad. But I got home anyway. I'm glad I got home. So it was a chaotic morning. All my batteries, my phone's plugged in, and it says my battery's dead. So I gotta cut this off. But anyway, so I've been getting monitored all day and all this stuff. We were in the middle of a snowstorm, and they come out and harass you and everything else in the middle of a snowstorm. It's really unreal. They don't stop. Even if there's a blizzard or a tornado or a hurricane, they don't stop. I mean, it's unreal, you guys. So anyway, my battery's going dead, so I gotta cut this off. So that's what's going on with me. What does it have to do with targeting? Well, it has everything to targeting because it is spontaneous. You can beat this stuff if you make a split decision. If you go to the gas station, you go to this restaurant here, and go right there to this restaurant. It does fail, you guys. Mind control fails. If you do it like that, you gotta do it like that. If you're driving on the road and you're going to Walmart or whatever, and you take a left turn, it throws them off. It throws them off. It really does. But you gotta do it like that. I mean, it's gotta be that quick. That quick, 1 second. You can beat this stuff if you're totally spontaneous. You can't think about what you're doing or what you're doing ahead of time. I went to Holiday tonight to get soda, and they had the perps there. Because they knew hours before I was going to Holiday to get soda. And they had perps there. And Holiday was closed because of the snowstorm. So I had to go to Quick Trip and get soda. And I paid $10 for a 12-pack of pop. Can you believe that? $10 for a 12-pack of pop. That's crazy. But if you do it like that, you can beat these guys. But they're always going to have the perps on route. They're always going to have the perps on route to where you're going. Even if you're thinking about it 5 minutes beforehand, they're going to have the perps on their way there when you get there. That's just something they do. If you're pumping gas, I'm going to Quick Trip, they're going to have the perps on their way there. So, I mean, it's really hard to beat this technology. I mean, if you go like You know, you got to be like that to beat this technology. So that's my video for tonight. I'm going to cut this off. I'll talk to you guys later.